to play around with NPC tonight, which I could do like a little bit of one, so like a. Alright. Okay. I really could do some stuff, but I gotta get this done. Why? Because I really want to finish this game. There's so much stuff I gotta finish. There's always so much stuff I gotta finish. Life is one gigantic hot dog bun mess. You never have enough. You're always wanting to have more. It's a never-ending thing. Alright, let's get the audio cords going so I can get ready. Alright, I forgot where we last left off. We continued the trial for... Oh God, who was the defendant again? It was not Natsume. It was Gina Lestrade, where we went through at least 2 different summation examinations. And we actually paused the second one just so we can make some progress. We figured there was another person on the scene because after discovering a 3rd bullet, someone else was there. I'm taking it in. It's just so much to take in all at once. And I'm stuffed up as hell, but I'm still gonna play this game.
Young lady, you have quite the devious mind.
It just comes down to one thing. I should really turn the volume down on this. There we go. Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Whether these ladies and gentlemen, the jury, are convinced by what you say, Runo. Is that about right, would you say? Or am I or did I misunderstand something? Unbelievable. Mr. Sholm's partner is a force to be reckoned with. A 10-year-old girl literally convinced everybody that it was up to the jury. Iris Wilson, sharpshooter.
After that show precise of the situation from an entirely unexpected source, it must be acknowledged that the previous summation examination is yet to reach its conclusion.
This is absurd!
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now asks for your final leadings on this matter. As proud citizens of Her Majesty's pardon, I'm sure we will come to a fair and just conclusion. So then, say your father's decisions in turn, please.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Really?
Not guilty.
Guilty.
What?
Guilty!
Not guilty.
For not guilty.
Two call guilty and 4 call not guilty. Such is the outcome of the summation examination.
Objection!
My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept this decision.
Why not? You accepted every other decision. Why not this one?
On what grounds?
If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoct devised by a pretender to real police work, then they are too ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's.
He's still doubting the methods of the blood samples. So, like, yeah, it's something new that even they're not aware of, but at the same time, yeah, it is still something that can be used. Wouldn't call it junk science if it can be used to compare, but then again, how many people in the world have the same color of blood when you use whatever that is?
I'm sorry, Lord Garnetzx, but the outcome of the summation examination cannot be ignored. This trial will continue.
My heart! Wow.
Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation.
My throat hurts. Now, this is not melatonin. This is vitamin C, by the way, which I need to guzzle down because I feel sick as crap. Damn it, I can't talk with vitamin C in my mouth. 1 second. I want to chew the vitamin C. That's all I want to do. Because I feel really, really sick. I'm stuffed up. And I woke up several times last night coughing and sneezing. I think I had, what was it, 4 times the amount of vitamin C anyone should ever have. Oh, I love the flavor of orange.
The defense is a very reasonable request by the subpoena of a new witness. But sadly, I feel that it will be impossible.
Why?
The name of the gentleman gave for himself, Uncle Benedict, is quite clearly false.
I don't believe it. Just when I managed to prove the man was there at the night, because we don't really know his name. Could I say something?
Huh? Who was I, please? Who spoke?
It was me, my lord.
Juror number 5.
What have you to say, madame?
If possible, Inspector.
Me, ma'am.
I wonder if you might show the photographic print to me again. I wonder which the gentleman is shown.
Oh, right, yes, this one, you mean. Yeah, of Mr. Benedict.
Yes. There's no doubt in my mind.
Juror number 5. You don't mean to say you know this man?
Yes, I know him.
What?
No. Good gracious!
Everybody's in on it, even the jury.
Order, order, order! Juror number 5, how on earth?
I am a communications officer, stop.
As we can clearly see.
The gentleman in the photographic is, stop. Also a communications officer, stop. He works in my office, stop.
What? No one jeer. What? Also, hi Jolly. Thanks for actually showing up to my other live stream. Even if I'm not playing Rec Room with everybody. I still appreciate that you showed up.
A very talented operator, in fact, stop. He should be in the communication station now. Stop. Tapping away on the telegraph, stop.
This doesn't seem right somehow. Can't put my finger on a why, but it doesn't feel right. I suppose we all imagine the accomplice would be some sort of hardened criminal. Bit of unexpected to find out that he's a respectable job by day, whatever he gets up to at night. Here! Hi. Ah, dang it. Frickin'. Hi. Hi. I got is right. I got it. What? I suppose that's why I thought something was wrong.
If the gentleman is along this communication station, we should be able to subpoena him within the hour. Garnetzx, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Make the necessary arrangements with all haste.
As your lordship bids.
He reluctantly does so.
The court will recess for 1 hour. When the new witness arrives, we shall reconvene to hear the witness gentleman's testimony. Inspector Grayson!
Yes, my lord.
I should like to hear from you specifically about the events of the pawnbrokery on the day in question. Come to my chambers soon to the recess.
Yes, sir, my lord.
Very well. Court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m.
I was doing Rec Room earlier today, but I wanted to get to the live stream. I don't know why Zalgoni wants me to get stuff done. Save? Yes. My god, this barely ends. But we are in the final episode, which is usually the longest. And also, you don't really need to retract what was sent here because I already know. It's fine. Everything is recorded, no matter how retracted it is. Trial part 3. 17th April, 12:41 p.m. The Old Bailey. Defendants and chamber. Message retracted. You want to retract every single message? It's fine. I have everything recorded. Gina, how are you holding up? I'm starting to feel quite warmly towards her frequent cold shoulders now.
Ginny, are you alright? Why are you saying anything?
Oh my god, I gave her the voice of the sandwich lady from Monty Python's, Spam. Shut up! Shut up! What's the point, eh? Why go all this trouble? Being far so hard for Lexo. What? Oh, you saw it. That picture. What picture? You mean this? The photograph taken by Hurley's red-handed reporter? I didn't think you would have captured a scene like that, that's for sure. It's hopeless. Anyone who sees it gonna think I did, ain't they? Well, I won't pretend it is a bit of shock when the prosecution first presented it to the court. Sure, you've got your doubts about me now. You guys still think I'm innocent? Of course I can. God, I got a frickin' headache. Ginny, why didn't you talk to us? Tell us what really happened all that night. Eh? We just cleverly managed to piece together a lot of new information, but still, I'd really like to hear from you. Alright then. It was after we had that dinner together at your place, right, Iris? Then we all had chat up in your office, didn't we? Yes, I remember. After that, I just couldn't get to sleep. So I slipped down, went down the street to the 201, to Windybank's place. I had to know. If Iris' story was there or not, the Hound of the Baskervilles. I don't know what's about or nothing. But if you ask me, there's something in it that Sholmes don't like. Something we don't want people reading. And that's why I lied to Iris about sticking in a lug with Windybank for safekeeping. At least, that's what I thought at the time. So you broke into Windybank's. I didn't know if it was there or not. Oh my god, stop. Thank you. I'll worry about that later. I got a backup plan. I had no intention it was all gonna kick off, did I? I struck the lock and stuck inside. It was as dark as you'd like in there. Except for the lamp, that was conveniently lit. So I gave the oil lamp on the counter a bit of wick, and that's when...
What is it you're ordering?
Ah! I nearly died. I did. And next thing I knew... I grabbed the gun off the counter and was waving in the air like... I don't know what.
Yeah, the girl was here this afternoon. I didn't think pickpockets went in for long, driver. Manuscript.
Got it here? Did Sholmes leave our lower papers to you a story?
I beg your pardon?
The Hound of the something or other. It is there. I want to see it.
I am sorry only, but I'd sooner die than relinquish an article belonging to one of my customers.
I don't want it. What would I do with it anyway? I just want to see if it's there, that's all.
Oh, you want to see it, do you?
I want to know if Sholmes really pawned it or not. Please, just let me see it and I'll go.
Oh, very well then. But for pity's sake, stop waving my gun around, would you?
But then the old club unlocked the storeroom door and we both went inside. And it was right there, alright. The mental script. Sholmes weren't lying after all. Do all that just to check on for me, Ginny? Anyway, there was a bit of a kick-up out in the Bean Biddle shop. Skulkin Brothers arriving on the scene, yes.
Was that noise? Someone's breaking in?
Dear me, there's some burglars convention here tonight that I don't know about.
I think I forgot to shut the door behind me. Sorry.
I better go and take care of it. Could I possibly have my gun back?
Oh, well, I'll come with you and...
Now don't be foolish, young girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstances.
Don't worry, I'll charge up my GoPro.
And with that, he took the gun out of me hands and walked back into the shop. I hung back in the storm like he said, straining my ears in the dark to hear what was going on. I sounded like he was going a bit of a scrap. I started to think I should help, see? So I was just about to go out the storeroom myself when... I heard a couple of shots go off. 2, I think, almost at the same time. Then there was, right at me feet, lying face down on the floor. I was right next to the storeroom door, so I slammed it shut and locked it quick as you like.
Because you thought whoever shot Mr. Winnymake might come for you.
Yeah, so I went to grab the old gov's gun. I figured I'd put up a fight at least. But when I got a better look at him, I knew. Winnymake was a goner. I felt funny in me and all of a sudden, kinda dizzy. And after that, I don't remember nothing.
That must be when you passed out, Gina. Just by the sight of looking at Winnymake.
If I hadn't done what I done, the old gov might still be alive.
Did you tell the police everything you just told us?
Of course I did. They didn't believe a word of it, did they? All they said was, if I kept telling lies, it'd make things even worse for me. We'll be alright, Ginny. Don't worry. Just stay strong a little longer. Bruno's about to put the real culprit through the middle. That cover what there in the afternoon? That cover what was there in the afternoon? That Edgar Benedict! I still remember how he looked at me like I was nothing. He was there that night.
So he was there. We don't know his real name yet, but I'm convinced that he's involved somehow. Anyway, thank you for telling us what happened, Gina. I appreciate your honesty.
You what? You can leave it all in Runo's capable hands now, Ginny. Mr. Nara Odo.
Yes?
How come you trust me? I don't get it. I mean, have you forgotten what happened there before? Come on. It was only 2 months ago. Me and McGilded, we told you a whole pack of lies. And you got a buck turn off without him! Even though he was a killer. He slit someone's throat. Actually stabbed him.
No, I can never forget that.
He stabbed him some more. Actually, no, it was once. Ow.
I did what I thought was best at the time, but the pain of the error of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I also make you a promise. I tell you that I'd be on your side to the bitter end, no matter what.
But what if I'm lying? You could be working hard to get another kill off the hook for all you know.
I was once in your position, Gina. I was the accused in the trial.
You were?
Before I left Japan, I was accused of murder. And strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were pretty damning. I'm sure that no one would believe it was me who done it.
Oh, Bruno.
But there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me, and was prepared to defend me. My best friend, Asoki.
Ryunosuke, no one believes in you more than I do. Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me, and I'll do the rest.
I was so happy. I cried. But even then, somewhere inside me I couldn't help thinking, surely he doesn't really believe in me. Not completely. But I was wrong.
As soon as my trial began, it was obvious that he had an absolute, unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute, unwavering belief in him. Since then, I came to realize, if you want someone to believe in you, you have to believe in the other person first.
What are you saying?
I promise you, Gina, that no matter what happens, I'll keep believing in you. So you don't need to worry. I won't let you down.
I don't believe it! Even though I'm a diver and a no-good liar.
You're not like me, Gilded. I know that.
Eh? That's right. You're our friend, Ginny. Iris.
I know you better than you think. We've come to the conclusion that you're someone we can trust.
Yes,
That's really all we need to know.
exactly.
Alright, what's going on here? I'm just checking the messages. Alright, we're good.
Mr. Nara. Oh no, I
Defendant Gina Lestrade and her legal representative. Get in here quick. Court proceedings are about to resume. Please head to the courtroom immediately.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Moichiro. Konto. I had both the defendant and the defendant lawyer in my time, so I knew only too well just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. I also knew just how hard it was to bear the burden of another putting all their faith in you. This is at last the final chapter, the final battle. Wish me luck, Susatsu-san. I hope you're watching over me too, partner. Oh, great. Now we're at the real big coup de grace. We're at the big finale.
I hereby call this court in order to resume the trial of Miss Gina Lestrade. Law 6, have you successfully subpoenaed the witness?
The subpoena was delivered to the communication station where the man works immediately, my lord. However, the heavy rain has delayed the arrival of his carriage, it would seem.
I see. Let us turn our attention to the Inspector Garnetzx's purchase of the court by here this morning. Declaring a mission of third building report is a serious blunder, Inspector.
Yes, I can only apologize, my lord.
And although the defense's chemical analysis of the blood at the scene makes for a compelling argument, I cannot permit such untried methods to be used as evidence in my courtroom.
It's all a big mistake to cross Hurley and me. Very big mistake.
You're not going to accept the blood portfolio evidence? Hold on a second.
My lord, the subpoenaed witness has just arrived at the building. Thank you, officer. Show him to the stand without delay.
Mr. Eggert Benedict. I didn't expect to be crossing paths with him again so soon. Certainly not like this.
Thank you for complying with the court subpoena at such short notice, sir. But of course, my lord, as an upstanding member of London society, it's my pleasure to oblige. Now, kindly state your name and occupation for the record.
Ashley Graydon, Communications Officer.
Really?
Mr. Gordon and I both work at London Central Communication Station. Now, perhaps somebody would kindly explain what all this is about. You were apprised of the situation by the court officer on your way here, I presume? Yes, I was. Something to do with the murder that took place at a pawnbroker's on Baker Street? And some nonsense about me having been there on the night in question. Who did that? That is the accusation, indeed. This really is beyond a joke, you know. Very well. Without further delay, the court will hear your testimony now, Mr. Graydon.
Graydon.
You have sworn the accusation made against you under oath. I do a jiggy. Gladly, my lord. Gladly.
Oh man, I sound like Perfect Self from Team 4-Star. Maybe a little bit different. The accusation.
Naturally, I have occasion to make use of the pawnbroker services from time to time. But are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night of the murder? No, I have no intention of admitting to such outrageous accusation. Even if a certain parties here present to claim that my blood was found at the scene. Some Scaramouche detective's homebrew tincture can hardly be taken as serious evidence. So you deny the accusation completely, do you? I must say, I am dismayed. For the highest court in the land to be swayed by this self-professed detective's toy. It was the will of the jury, and our great British justice system demands that the jury will is upheld. Then it would seem we have a misfortune of the most inept assembly of jurors today. My colleague, how long am I expected to be detained here? If following the defense's corpus to the ammunition your involvement in this matter has not been established, you'll be free to leave immediately. Good, then I shall be away in time for the afternoon tea. Some consolidation at least. Let us not hold up Mr. Graydon any longer than necessary, counsel. Proceed with the cross-examination.
So, we meet again, Mr. Eggert Benedict. Or is it Mr. Graydon?
Who's to say which is which? My apologies, you all?
Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer. We have met.
Oh well, if you say so. Ashley Graydon, enchanté. I'm too British for my kind. So... I trust we can conclude this quickly?
But I'm not holding your flashy hat while we do. Oh, great. Cross-examination. Okay, this is gonna be hard enough as it is. And just as hard enough as it's gonna be, I'm probably gonna pull up the walkthrough. Just to be safe. Walk through. Here we are. Part 6, the last part, the whole truth. No. Part 7? The accusation. Okay, fine. The last couple parts. So we should, as soon as we get past this part, we're done with the whole thing! Alright, quit spamming. Please, and thank you. I appreciate it. Why, you want to contribute?
Naturally, I have occasion to make use of the pawnbroker services from time to time.
Hold it! Yes, we even met in the very pawnbrokery where the crime took place on the afternoon of the day in question. Though, of course, you introduced yourself by a different name at the time. It was Mr. Edgar Benedict, I believe. Tell me.
Objection!
The witness here is to testify about the events that took place that night. He is under no obligation to answer such unrelated questions.
You can't be serious. And it's 9 o'clock.
Thank you, because I certainly do not feel inclined to answer such inappropriate question. Especially from you.
So he's going to be evasive, isn't he? In an effort to not give anything away. This could be tricky. Okay, this could be tricky indeed.
But are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into a place on that night of murder?
I probably better save it. So, Zalgoni, what do you think of the British gentleman voice I'm doing? Even though I see myself as transgender, it's not something I would rather do. Hold it! Have you seen these two men before?
This pair? No, I don't associate with criminals.
Said by a man who introduced himself as Edgar Benedict.
I'd like to know.
Too scared... What? Too scared to answer the questions.
I'd like to know who'd I have to thank for this. Is it you? Do I need to clock you over the head for this? Who made this outlandish accusation against me? The young lawyer over there in the black. This is a farce! Well, Juji, whose idea was it to promote an outsider and walk in a British court anyway? Well, needless to say, I have no intention of admitting to such outrageous accusation.
Hold it! Where were you at around... Where were you at around 1 in the morning on the day in question, sir?
That is past the hour at which I would normally retire. Certainly. I was not in the company of these rapscallions.
Even though I didn't ask? You're able to prove that?
Objection!
Listen carefully, my lone Nepalese friend. Were you to appear under gross misapprehension of this point?
What do you mean?
The witness maintains he was not at the scene of the crime. He has no obligation to prove his absence. If your accusation is that the witness was present at the scene, the obligation lies with you to prove your assertion. You will fulfill that obligation before putting any more unreasonable questions to the witness. I do a jiggy. A jiggy! Yes!
A silent victory wiggle. Thanks. Alright.
Even if the certain parties here present claim that my blood was found at the scene.
Hold it! Blood was found at the scene of the crime. There's no question of that. Mr. Sholmes' chemical analysis has positively identified the substance as such.
But I am not the only human to have blood running through my veins, am I? How can you be sure that the blood is mine? It could equally be the blood of one of these two miscreants.
Every individual's blood has been slightly different in composition, it seems. Mr. Sholmes' chemical is able to differentiate...
Spare me the science lesson! Who is a Sholmes character anyway?
Oh, I assumed all Londoners would know the name. He's a great, well, a renowned detective.
So even you are unable to bring yourself to say, great detective. A great detective, you say? Now we're in the realm of fairy tales, are we?
Now, why would Nash have a problem with that? Excuse me! So yes, then. Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Skulkin? I think it's Nash, and the shorter one is Ringo. The frickin' Mario and Luigi characters. What? Me? No, Mr. Skulkin next to you.
Right, I've had enough to hear with this. How many times have I got to tell you?
As much as I would love to... I'm half and half with this. Some part of me is like, no, I did not ask you. And the other part of me is like, I didn't ask you, but why are you responding anyways? Yes, I know. You're not Big Bruv Silky. Oh, God. Mr. Nash Skulkin. Eh? God blimey, Governor. You what? Oh, crap. Frickin'. Is it not the case that when Mr. Grading just spoke, a thought went through your mind? Would you care to share that thought with the court? Eh? Me thoughts? I don't have none of them. No, 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 no. It must have been him. You what? Mr. Nash Skulkin? Answer the question, please. What went through your mind when Mr. Grading just spoke? Nothing, honest God, nothing. I was just thinking. If he waves on like that so much more, it'll open up the wound again, that's all. But he took the bullet, of course. It was 2 days ago. It ain't gonna be healed up yet. So I was, well, you know, I was worrying for him. And he just confessed to everybody that he was wounded. Oh, invalid! Yes. Mr. Graydon, did you hear that? What? Your comrade is worried about you, it seems. On account of your injured arm. Oh, my lord?
Yes, Mr. Graydon! I have no idea what these two wretches are talking about. Certainly, I shouldn't be expected to answer anything in relation to the mindless insinuation.
Know that someone other than the victim was hit by a bullet at the scene of the crime 2 nights ago. And from the height of the bullet hole in the wall, that person was likely hit in the upper arm or whereabouts. Perhaps you'd allow the court officials to examine your arm, sir. The left arm that you're currently clasping with your right hand as if in pain.
No, I refuse. You can't make me. You have shown no evidence whatsoever that links me to these common thieves. Accordingly, I'm not obliged to permit any such invasion of my privacy. As I've already said, I'm completely uninvolved in all this. I've never had anything to do with the pawnbrokery where this fellow was killed whatsoever. I take offense at that insinuation that I was in any way involved. You claim to have nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Winnibank's pawnbrokery.
My lord, the defense would like the last statement to be added to Mr. Graydon's formal testimony.
Very well, counsel. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Graydon.
I feel like I could actually...
The bottom line is, I never had anything to do with the pawnbrokery establishment when the man was killed.
You did. Because the music disc was something you tried to claim. So, the music disc. Smear the blood, metal disc play music, so... Here! There we go. Have you ever seen this disc before, Mr. Graydon?
Why is that supposed to mean something?
This disc was until the day of his murder in a pawn in Mr. Winnibank's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, that afternoon. However, somebody mysteriously appeared to try and take it from her. And that somebody was you, of course. Wasn't it, Mr. Graydon?
As I have reiterated numerous times now, you are mistaken. That was not me. I've never seen that disc before in my life.
May have escaped your notice, but there's a small smear of blood on the disc.
Ah, yes, relating from the abrasion of the thumb, perhaps?
That's right. The surface of the disc is covered in hundreds of tiny metal bumps. In the skirmish to acquire the disc, the thumb of the person who tried to take it suffered minor lacerations. So, while the disc bears the remnants of the skirmish in the form of the smear of blood, the thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also, in the form of a scratch.
Good gracious! Indeed it must!
Mr. Graydon, you refuse to allow the court officer to examine your arm before. Are you now going to refuse to allow us to examine your thumb? Because I have no doubt it bears a small scratch consistent with the smear of blood on this disc.
Oh. Well, well. It would seem I underestimated you. What was the meaning of this?
So you admit now. You admitted you have a scratch on your thumb from when you attempted to take the disc from the defendant!
Order! Well, Mr. Graydon? It would appear there has been something of a misunderstanding here. I did not attempt to take the disc, as you put it. No, quite the reverse.
What are you trying to say?
It's really quite simple, you see. The disc was mine from the outset.
So you admit to having something to do with the pawnbrokery?
Is there some crime in taking an item that you own out of the pawn?
What?
It would seem, Mr. Graydon,
That and this piece of evidence, my lone friend has established a link between yourself and the incident. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about the CISC now. As you wish. Though I'm quite sure it has nothing to do whatsoever with the pawnbroker's murder. There's a note on the disc saying, "Formerly gilded," but the item belongs to me. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy godling, on the day in question. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night.
Did I hear you correctly, sir? McGill, did you say? The famous London philanthropist? Who perished in this very courtroom 2 months ago after being acquitted of a distinctly messy murder?
Yes, my lord. The one and the same.
Good Lord! Mr. Gordon! Are you saying that Mr. McGill and yourself were acquainted?
Yes, that's correct.
Now we're getting some exposition.
Order! Certainly did not expect to hear that name uttered here in my courtroom again.
According to what Gina told us, this disc was placed at the pawn on a fateful night 2 months ago. Dylan himself gave instructions to deposit it at the Winnie Banks.
It's funny that Mr. Graydon here is claiming the disc belongs to him, then, isn't it?
In all likelihood, he's lying. So he appeared that afternoon in Winnie Banks in order to get a hand on McGillis' disc for some reason.
Counsel, you will commence your cross-examination if you please.
I gotta fill up my water bottle. I'm thirsty. Ugh. Damn it. So, hold on a second. Let me just put this away. BRB. Okay, that's not a BRB. I'll have to put the BRB above everything. Dot. Alright, BRB. Oh, finally got some water. And I'm gonna guzzle more vitamin C in a second. Because I need it. My god, did I have 5 times the amount of vitamin C? That's gotta do something. Is there such a thing as vitamin C overdose? I hope not. This'll cure what ails me. Freaking loads of vitamin C. Alright. Alright. Let's go down. Oh, I swear to God, I need a second cup holder. Ah. The disc. Belongs to me. Hold it! Will you care to explain how this belongs to you?
As you observe, a communications officer such as myself commands a fine salary.
You are certainly exquisitely dressed, sir.
So, you see, I have little need to make use of the services provided by the pawnbroker trade. However, I did once find myself in difficulties having misplaced my purse whilst on an errand, which is why I pawned my fine black overcoat to the broken question.
You claim that was your overcoat?
Obviously, and in my haste I clean forgot that the music box disc was in its pocket. And yet there's a note on it that reads for McGilded. I am a collector of rare and unusual music box music. I first met Mr. McGilded at the gentleman's club in the city, and was interested to discover that he shared my penchant in that area.
So, the discussion question.
It's a pre-production sample. I promised to let Mr. McGillard hear it. But then you forgot that it was in the pocket of the overcoat you were forced upon. Yes, exactly.
She didn't mention any of that in her testimony 2 months ago, did she?
No, because McGillen had threatened to keep her mouth shut. Which means that if we dig too deeply here, it's going to expose Gina's perjury.
Oh dear. This is complicated, isn't it?
Let's leave it alone for the time being.
The redemption ticket was stolen by me and by the accused, that filthy godling on the day in question.
Hold it! So you're saying that Miss Lestrade lifted the ticket from your pocket or bag?
That's right, despite being mindful of danger when walking in insalubrious areas. Of kind forgiveness.
Objection!
Miss Lestrade did no such thing.
Well, of course you would take that stance, but the girl is a regular offender.
You came to the Pompery that day prepared with all the information you need to identify the defendant. You were looking for her. That's what you brought to Winniebanks. To get your hands on Mr. McGillis' disc.
Objection!
My learned friend is a veritable font of nonsense.
And nonsense.
I concur with the prosecution. Counsel, you refrain from conjecturing this way. Is that clear?
Yes, my lord.
Then I will continue with my testimony, for what possible use can it be. I proceeded at once to the shop to order to explain my situation and redeem my article.
Hold it! Have you ever been to Winniebanks before?
Only once, for the purposes of pawning something. But like many, I enjoy browsing in such establishments. So when you notice the pickpocket is taking your ticket, you chased after her. Is that correct? Yes, that's right. I didn't notice at first, of course. Such is the art of a pick purse. But when I did, I hid the Pompery at once, in order to reclaim my coat, where the thief could. I was merely trying to recover what was rightfully mine in the first place.
He can say what he likes because he knows we have no evidence to contradict him on this.
In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police.
Hold it! Guess it was taken by Inspector Grayson, wasn't it?
That's right. This was the very fine man. Apparently, the police are collecting anything that has a connection to Miss
Is
McGill
that right?
as evidence.
Why would you... Excuse me!
me!
Is something wrong, Inspector?
What do you mean?
The last remark Mr. Graydon made in his testimony seemed to trouble you in some way?
No, it didn't. It's nothing. Leave it alone.
Let me ask you this, Inspector. Why is Scotland Yard gathering Miss McGill's possessions?
I can't tell you something like that, sunshine!
What is it, Inspector? Investigative secrets?
Yes, exactly. You should know all about that.
Magnus McGilded, who died so unexpectedly after his trial 2 months ago. A man renowned throughout the capital for his great contributions to public life, yet he had a dark side too.
Where are you going with this, Van Zix?
I suppose the police are dealing with the aftermath of his nefarious activities, are they?
That's enough. Coppers like me have duties to carry out we're not at liberty to talk about. That's all you need to know.
Duties conferred by Lord Strongheart, I presume. The Lord Chief Justice appears to have great faith in you, Inspector.
The bottom line is, if you want to get more out of me, you're going to need Lord Stronghold's paw print first.
What's all this about? It's like there's something going on between Gregson and Lord Van Zeek's here. I don't know what is over there.
Well, it would appear that the inspector has revealed all he is eliminated every bit. Mr. Gray, let us return your testimony.
Gladly, my lord. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break in the shop later that same night.
I feel like you did, but I'm gonna press it anyways. And if I can't find a reason, then I'm gonna have to look through the whack-through. Hold it! Or perhaps you've seen something of value among the forfeited items.
No, not at all. A valuable was brought in by the police to assess everything in the shop. Without exception, every article on the shelves was common or gone, no bric-a-brac.
In that case, it's clear. You broke into a shop later that day in order to recover McGillis's disc.
Have you not been listening, man? Even if I had wanted to recover the disc, you may recall that it had been seized by the police that afternoon. It was no more in the shop that night than I. As I keep saying, I simply had no reason to break in.
Then why? Why break in? So there was nothing of McGillis's left in the shop that night. Nothing this man might have been after. I wonder if that's really true. Bruno, if you have some evidence, then let him have it. I'm dying to see the irritability expression of this crumble. Okay. Gillis slipped the disc into the coat pocket and deposited it in Winniebank's. Then he realized he was going to be arrested on suspicion of the omnibus murder. He threatened Gina and forced her to take the redemption ticket. There's no doubt about it. That witness is lying through his pearly white teeth. The police were obviously after anything left behind McGillis as well. That's why Inspector Gregson ended up taking the disc into custody that day. But Greg's being very strange about this. There must be a reason for that, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is. For now, I need to focus on exposing that Mr. Grayston is lying in his testimony. Okay. What was he after? I have one small idea. One small idea. For why that is the case. Pawnbroker's ticket for a box, and pawnbroker's ticket for a coat. Remember, handwritten, written, and photograph. So. Shillings. Okay. The pawnbroker's ticket, the box. This is the only idea I have. Otherwise, I'm drawing a blank after this. And of course the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I had no reason to break into the shop later that night. There was a redemption ticket. Okay. Let's say, for example... he was going to go after something that belonged to McGilded. The one item we know was the overcoat that contained the disc, but there was another one. Oh, who is this? Who does it belong to? Showing from box. February 13th. Mr. Rennie, because you photographed. Written clearly with silly random paper, so anything else to calculate from first now. I'm thinking it was a box. Because this is the only other reason. Otherwise, what? The manuscript? Anybody else go for that? Okay, was there a reason it's either the box or this? I already know, the pawnbroker's ticket. Redemption ticket. Blood, the stain, that we suspected. That's right, it was wonderfully concocted. She couldn't have been wearing that left glove that night, could she? Okay, so there's two possibilities. Either ticket. I'm I'm gonna try the first ticket, and if that doesn't work, I'm gonna try the second one. I'm thinking I'm gonna try the second one. And the reason why is because it was the ticket that had the blood on it. So, objection! Nope! Fricked up. Fricked up. Okay, fine. Let's restart the first ticket. Because there was a bloodstain on it, and he had to take that off, and it could have proved I fired Mason. Okay, fine. The other reason is the redemption ticket for the box. Here! Yeah, I was right on the first one. This disc was a positive Winnie Manx on Magnus McGill's instructions. Yeah, that was the box. I should have just gone for the box idea in the first place. You knew that, and you went there with the intention of obtaining it for yourself.
Objection!
Conjecture again, and in any case, the disc was taken into custody by the police that afternoon. The witness had no reason to visit the pawnbroker again that night.
Objection!
There was a reason. To pick up a box. Sorry, my learned friend, but that's not true. What? Mr. McGill had another article on pawn at Winnie Manx. As this second pawnbroker's ticket proves. Ah. There were 2 articles belonging to Mr. McGill in the Winnie Manx pawnbrokery. And the reason you broke into the shop that night was to recover the second one. Together with you 2 accomplices, the Skulker Brothers!
Ah! This is the second ticket. What had the man deposited?
The article description reads, 1 small box.
Rather vague description, it seems to me. Are you suggesting I broke into the pawnbrokery with these clowns in order to steal some trinket box?
I believe there are adequate grounds to suspect that you did.
This is absurd! Why on earth would I do such a thing? Once the article has been forfeited, I could simply walk in the shop and purchase it. There would be absolutely no need for me to resort to theft.
That's a good point. But I think there must have been a reason why you had to regardless. What is so special about that box?
Indeed! The witness makes a solid argument.
So that means that for some reason, this graded felony of the small box that very night does it.
Objection!
It's time to put an end to this nonsense, my lord. Could you be a little less cryptic, Lord Garnetzx? I do hate to ruin my lone friend's argument, but the truth is quite incontrovertible. On the night in question, no small box was taken from Winnie Manx pawnbrokery. And rest assured, the prosecution can prove it.
What?
Good gracious! Inspector, show the photographic prints to the court, if you please.
Yes, sir.
What prints?
These prints were taken from one of the detective security cameras.
Ah, police red-handed recorders again.
As previously explained using this plan of the shop layout. The victim's establishment was furnished with automatic cameras in 2 locations. One set was to capture the counter where Mr. Garnetzx receives his customers, and the other was set to capture the shelves on which the articles were placed for sale once forfeited.
According to the information on the ticket, the girl's small box had been forfeited already. 2 days before the incident at 9 p.m. on 13th of April, to be precise. Which means it would have been on the shelf of the forfeited items of the shop front. Now, I ought to have here was a print taken by one of the cameras about 2 hours before the incident. That's 11 p.m. on 15th of April. The victory, sir, certainly had a very full shop up here.
Okay. Is there anything different about this?
And then here we have another print.
Is there anything different?
This one was taken about 2 hours after the incident.
There has to be something different about this, but what?
Let's see, so we have 2 pictures to compare.
there anything different about these? Box is the same, tea kettle is the same, candles the same. I don't see anything different. There's nothing different. There's nothing different. There's nothing different. Wait! There is one thing different. At the bottom right. That was moved. The one at the bottom right. It's like right... There's a small box in front of a picture. That's moved. That's the one small thing.
Dear me, that's starting to make my headache. Obviously, as swallowing on, we consider theft as one possible motive in the case. We explore the possibility that something had been taken in addition to the victim's life. So you men have already compared these two prints thoroughly, Inspector? Yes, sir.
It's the bottom right. There's a small box that's been moved.
We counted every single item in each of these two photographic prints. And the honest conclusion is that exactly the same number are present in both.
Yes, but one has been moved.
In other words, nothing was taken from the pawnbroker in the night in question. And my learned friend's assertion is nothing more than a hopeful fantasy.
Ah! I don't believe it. In fact, I should show that he stole McGilda's pawn box.
I do my jigging. I do my jigging.
I might have been able to break him down at last. You know what, Reno? I've been thinking. The two pictures. I wonder if these two photographs really are exactly the same. They're not! The small box on the bottom right! What? We're near the bottom.
So, counsel, in the light of the evidence put forward by the prosecution, what is your position? Seems that, in fact, on the night in question, nothing was stolen from the victim's establishment.
But things were moved around.
Do you accept the prosecution's assertion?
I don't know. Could there be some hidden discrepancy in these two photographic prints? Point out the discrepancy. Yes, there is. There's a box at the bottom right. I wasn't sure at first, but there's a clear discrepancy between these two prints. What?
You must identify the location in question for the court, counsel. Indicate the precise location of the discrepancy you wish to speak.
It's this small box right here. It's a little to this, and right over here it's a little to this, so... Here! Granted, these two prints are almost identical. However, there's one mere discrepancy between them.
What?
When you view the two pictures stereoscopically, a single area stands out as being different. The location of this small box.
That's me. Wait! Unbelievable! By Jove, you're right! How extraordinary!
What this tells us is very simple. Miss McGillis' small box was indeed not stolen from Windibanks on the night in question. However, there can be no doubt that somebody picked up this particular box and then returned it to its place on the shelves.
Are you suggesting the small box originally deposited by Miss McGillis is in fact...
Yes, the very same small box identified in just those two photographic prints.
Mindless guesswork. What if it was? So a box was moved on the shelf. Nothing was stolen. Which means, quite simply, that nothing has changed.
Nope. That may be true, but... Alright, McGillis' box wasn't stolen then. But doesn't the fact that it was moved like that change things? It changes everything. It shows that someone did try to take it. I believe this changes everything about the case.
How can that possibly be?
The crucial point is the fact that it was moved what was moved was a small box. In other words, we may have to consider what might have been inside that box.
What are you suggesting?
Oh, feeling slightly better. Oh, the vitamin C is doing stuff. I'm suggesting that we need to examine the box as soon as possible. The final piece of evidence is sitting on the shelves at the Winnie Banks as we speak.
Objection!
That won't be necessary. That's some little box belonging to a man who died 2 months ago. It can't possibly be relevant to this trial. The court does not uphold your objection, Lord Garnetzx. Bailiff! Arrange for an officer to go to Bix's Tree at once. Obtain the small box in question and bring it back here for further examination.
Really? Look, this is just not Van Zeek's day. It's just not his day.
We should have a report within half an hour. I think perhaps you should recess for a short while until the evidence is brought forth. To be hoodwinked by such a force. Disappointing. I beg your pardon, Lord Garnetzx. This is nothing but a smokescreen. A nippity specialty, it would seem.
What are you trying to say?
My learned friend has persisted with the same line of reasoning from the very beginning. That is, that this witness's intent was to steal an article belonging to Mr. McGildet from the pawnbrokery. Yet common sense tells us that none of these articles are valuable enough to be worth stealing in the first place.
What if they don't need to be of value? What if they need to be of importance?
Exactly! It would be beyond absurd to break into a place for the purpose of stealing such commonplace property. Well, into the fire goes. If your lordship recalls, Mr. McGill did perish 2 months ago, immediately after the conclusion of his trial. A trial in which he was found not guilty. A trial in which he was established he was an upstanding member of society, his reputation implied, in fact. So I propose a toast to my learned friend and his most insightful defense. The article this upstanding member of society pawned were entirely ordinary. A black overcoat that just happened to have a music box disc in one of its pockets, and a small box. I assure you, I wouldn't accept it even if a man tried to make a gift of such things to me. The prosecution's argument is undeniably compelling. It is incumbent on the defense now to bolster its argument. Into the fire! To explain what possible significance these commonplace articles pawned by this fine citizen could have. Well, counsel, is your argument in fact demonstrable?
What is it about that box? What is it about that box that's so important?
Are you able to show proof that the disc or the box are intangible way related to the case?
Well, what's the matter, Bruno? We know that they're related, don't we? They're both vital pieces of evidence. Yes, of course. You and I both know that. We know McGill is true character. We know the disc is significant, even if we don't know why. But if we explain that all to the court at this point, we'll have to acknowledge that Mr. McGill's acquittal 2 months ago was a mistake. The defense's argument was flawed, based on false information.
Oh no.
And that would mean admitting that Gina committed perjury.
But Ginny,
Could it be that Van Zeeks knows? Is that why he's doing this now? Because he's anticipated everything?
but maybe this could be a great opportunity for us.
Sorry, what do you mean? Iris?
Well, what is that you always say, Renault? Sooner or later, the truth comes out. Every time.
Alright, the exact significance of the things that McGilded deposited with Mr. Winnebank is something that only Ginny can explain to the court. If I put her on the stand to testify about that, it could critically damage our chances of winning this case. What's the right thing to do here? Have Gina testify. Tell the truth and admit everything. My lord, the defense would like to make a proposal.
Oh, what proposal, counsel?
While the court awaits the arrival of Miss McGillis' small box, I would like to call the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, to the witness stand.
The defendant? To what end?
To do with the various articles deposited in Winnebank's by Miss McGillis, my lord. Miss Lestrade has information relating to them. I believe it would be beneficial for the court to hear what she has to say. It will prove the significance of the article in question, once and for all.
Well, well, things are becoming interesting. I presume you've considered the implications of the testimony you're proposing. In particular, the impact it will have on the accused standing, and indeed, your own.
I have to admit the truth.
For sakes, we can explain the last remark. The prosecution has accepted the defense's proposal. I move to interrupt the cross-examination of the current witness and hear from the accused herself. Very well. If you have no objection. So, the court will now hear from the testimony of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. You witnesses currently in the stand must step down until further notice. Then I shall bid you good day. Wait. You, sir, shall remain in the stand while Miss Lestrade testifies. As you wish.
Alright then, Gina, it's time. I know this will be hard, but please, put your faith in me here. Good luck, Reno. The articles that Mr. McGillis had deposited in the Winnebank's Ball Burglary are intimately related with the omnibus case, the trial of which was heard in the courtroom 2 months ago.
Yes, and I remember this young lady being brought before me in the trial as well.
That's right, my lord. Her testimony helped to establish the innocence of the defendant, Miss McGillis.
The omnibus case was intriguing, to say the least. And now here we are again, the same players in that trial facing each other once more. A twist of fate, perhaps, as my Nipponese friend.
Allow me to recap the events of 2 months ago. An old brickmaker was stabbed to death in the omnibus running along London's winter streets. Apart from the victim, there was only one other person in the carriage, Mr. McGillis. Naturally, he was the prime suspect for the murder. But as the trial progressed, another possibility emerged. That the murder in fact took place above the defendant's head on the roof deck, with the body then being dropped through the skylight into the carriage below. It was Miss Lestrade whose testimony brought that possibility to light. At the time of the incident, Miss Lestrade was concealed under a seat in the carriage, hoping to pick the pockets of unsuspecting passengers. Then, immediately after the trial, having been acquitted of murder, Mr. McGillis died in this very courtroom, in the most extraordinary of circumstances.
A mystery that remains unsolved even now, 2 months on. As indeed does the omnibus murder itself. Be that as it may, I recall neither the distill or the small box being mentioned in the course of the proceedings.
Miss Lestrade. Would you tell the court now, please, what really happened in the omnibus 2 months ago, I mean?
I don't know what you mean. I already said all I don't know.
And what about everything you told us yesterday from inside your prison cell?
Eh?
Please, Miss Lestrade. This is extremely important.
But
Remember, little girl, if it transpires that you willfully withheld information in the trial 2 months ago, the Home Office will seek to prosecute you for perjury.
eh?
And naturally, you will lose all credibility as a witness. Although, let's face facts, you have little credibility to lose.
Jay, don't listen to him. Please, you have to trust Reno now. Iris! We're on your side. Alright then. I'll talk.
It's the right choice, Gina.
Well, you seem that my learned friend is hell-bent on bringing the entire courtroom down about his ears. So be it.
I must confess that I'm struggling to understand what on earth is happening here. However, it would appear that Miss McGill is pulling articles in that extraordinary case of the omnibus. All the secrets of which we've been hitherto unaware. To Miss Lestrade, you will now give your testimony before the court about the events of 2 months ago. You will reveal the truth, a commodity sorely lacking in your original statements.
This is it then. Everything's going to come out. Like Van Zeek said. This could bring the whole courtroom down about my ears, but as a lawyer, I'm prepared to take that risk. Real truth about the omnibus case.
Truth is, the breakmaker Corv was in the cabin the whole omnibus the whole time. When the Irishman dragged me up from under the seat, I saw the disc on the floor. All of a sudden, I heard a scream from over my head, and a pair of the roof deck went off to call the troops. That's when Mr. McGill had slipped the drama to a tin to threaten the pawn shop around about. He threatened me not to snitch, not to say nothing about when I seen a hood.
Oh god, I gotta take a break.
Good grief, this is outrageous! What you just told the court bears almost no resemblance to your testimony 2 months ago.
As you say, my lord.
Then there's every chance I may have adjudicated an error in Miss Gilda's trial. It sounds very much to me as if the man deliberately deceived this court in an effort to come up with the most wicked of schemes.
Without doubt, your lordship is correct. A great injustice was done in this courtroom 2 months ago. The actions of the accused in the trial of this witness and of my learned friend are entirely inexcusable.
The whole trial was a farce. It was all lies. The McGill fellow was rotten to the core. Just like the pickpocket. Don't forget that lawyer police. They were all in it together.
You're wrong, the lot of you! Mr. Nato, the lawyer! They didn't know nothing about it! Shut up!
Holbrook!
I don't think so. Are we really expected to believe that?
We really searched everyone up in here, wanted an operation to get the man off Schofield. Unforgivable! Stop! The lies on us all! Stop!
Yes, the defense made a terrible error of judgment. I intend to take full responsibility and suffer whatever consequences are deemed appropriate. However, it's imperative that the court allows the witness to elaborate on her testimony. Because of the true significance of McGill's pawn articles must be brought to light.
Very well, my lone student friend. Given the depths of the calamity you've just plunged yourself into, this may well be worth hearing.
Words fail me! The situation is utterly deplorable! Mr. Naruhodo!
Yes, my lord.
I will decide upon your faithful in the conclusion of this trial!
Of course, my lord. So we've admitted that it was everything about that trial was made in error.
Blimey, Mr. Naruhodo.
Now, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination!
The real truth of the omnibus case. I should probably stop here and take a break. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna relax. I gotta get going. I know I usually... I know I don't have, like... I'll explain later. I gotta relax and sleep. So I'll see you all tomorrow for another live stream. Alright?